Hey everybody, it's Jason and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to continue on with these two 1995 Honda XR80Rs. They came to me to bring back to life, haven't run in a few years. I've got the first one back running not too bad, and now I'm going to just dig into the second one and see what we've got.
Yeah, I know it looks just like the other one, but it's not. So this is bike 2. Got it up on the lift. This bike is supposedly the better of the two of them. It has been running recently, and judging by all the mud that I just blew off of it, I'd say that it's been used a lot more. The chain on this bike doesn't look to be as good as the last one. Now, it looks to me on the last bike like the chain broke off fairly recently and did all that damage. And they probably had to put a new chain on. But this one here's got a fair bit of play in it. We're going to have to work on taking that out. Hopefully there's enough adjustment left in it. It's getting kind of tight here on the back, but I mean, if worse comes to worse, we will just take a link out, right? But I hope we don't have to. Another plus is that the carburetor is still in the bike. The last one was, as you remember, draped over the handlebar, but this one apparently it was still running, so hopefully that's a good sign. It looks to me like this carburetor has been in there for a while, like it hasn't been played with in a bit. The one air screw is newer, but it's not brand new, so I think this bike has been running on that carburetor for a while. He seemed to think it just needed a quick adjustment, or cleaning and adjustment, so that's what we're going to do. Another bonus on this bike, the front and rear tire are both holding air, which is nice. We don't have to worry about anything there. All we really have to do is strip her down and see if there's anything missing or that we have to order, check the seals, all that kind of thing. Got the side cover off, and everything looks a fair bit better inside here than it did on the last bike. The chain on the other one had broken through this barrier here, and if you take a look here, you can actually see this has got a similar problem to the other one, where maybe the chain has flown off or has come loose and has also notched out that piece of aluminum from the case. But this one doesn't look nearly as bad as the other one, although it does look like it's been leaking. So I'll probably clean that up and take a closer look just to see if there's anything I can do, maybe slip a new seal in there if I feel like disturbing it. But this chain's going to have to come off and get soaked because it's looking pretty rough. Output shaft, not looking too bad. It's a little oily, but you know, that's probably the only oil the chain's getting, so I'm not sure I'm too worried about that. If this was a street bike and I wanted, you know, worried about keeping it clean, I would, but I think we're going to live with that. It's not terrible. Gear shift seal here, a little oily, but again, it's not gushing out, obviously. You know, there's no fresh oil laying on there. Definitely had some damage in the past. I think we're going to leave well enough alone on that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spray all this down, give it a good clean, and just take a closer look at it. But my gut feeling right now is that it's probably best just left alone. Trying to get another one in might not work out so well. Well, I'm just going to take his word for it that this carb's dirty. I mean, he says it hasn't really run since last year, and you know, these carbs are so simple. It only takes a minute to take them off, take a look inside them, give them a clean, and then you know, right? Rather than trying to guess. I got spark. Okay, well, here we are on the workbench. Oh my goodness. Yep, that looks pretty gross. Doesn't even smell like gas. Okay, so this is set all the way down. It's tightened completely. That's not right. That's not right at all. All the ends coming out. Yeah, that worked. There we go. Cool. So my go-to ultrasonic cleaner concoction is this is a 6-liter container. I put in like a squeeze of Dove dish detergent, which is the best degreaser in the world. Then I put in about an ounce of Pine Sol. You know, good old-fashioned, nothing special Pine Sol, especially for carburetors. It seems to make things just that much easier. Then I heat it up to about 50 degrees and let it go for maybe 30 minutes. Take it out, take a look at it, give it a little clean, do it again. The last carb I had to do 3 times, right? So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, well, we got that ultrasonic cleaner going, doing the carbs. I thought we might as well just check the valves. So I put her up to top dead center. This is supposed to be a 2,000th gap, and pretty close to a 2,000th gap. And then on the exhaust side, there we go. Yeah, I can go along with that. That'd be a 2,000 fit. So I'd say the valves are good. Yeah, valves are good. Let's see what we got going here. I've had these out twice now and given them a little rub down with the stainless steel brush. Spent a little bit of time on the jets. I use the tip of dollar store stainless steel brush to poke the little holes on the emulsion tube and the slow jet, and they seem to be okay. So everything's been cleaned out with the carb cleaner, and took the compressor, blew them out, made sure everything was open, and everything is. So very simple carburetors. I'm sure this will go back together and work just fine. Everything looks to be okay. That's a 95 main jet. I didn't check the other carb. If it gives me trouble, maybe that's one of the first things I'll look at. That needle looks pretty good. Floats seem to float, which is good. Okay, since this was a running engine, I'm gonna make the assumption right now that the float height is correct. I mean, nothing's changed that way. There's no fluid in those floats. They're not sloshing around, so that's good. Got a screwdriver handy. I'm sure that the throttle and the air is going to need an adjustment. Got the gas turned on. Everything's hooked up. It's going to take 2 prime kicks. Oh, compression, that's good. 1, 2. Take my finger off the button. Let's turn the choke on, just for fun. Brakes, here we go.
As it turns out, that high idle was from an air leak. The O-ring that sits between the carburetor and the intake on the engine had dried out quite a bit. I ended up replacing it with another one I had, and it's settled right down now.
Alright, I got her all warmed up. Took it out for a little drive on the lawn. And then I adjusted the throttle and the air mix to get that idle. Seems just about right to me. Might be very low in gas, actually. Oh, it seems to be doing all right. I'll play around with it. I want to change the oil, and maybe I better check the air filter on this. Check. The brakes seem to be fine. You know, the kill switch works. Gear shift, I only went up to about 3rd gear, you know, which isn't all that fast, but you know, it seemed okay. Seemed like it was running all right. I had to put something else up on the lift, so I'm going to do my oil change and my last little bit of maintenance on the bike outside. It's a beautiful day, and really it's pretty much done. So that oil was kind of black, but really it wasn't that bad. I've decided I'm just gonna skip the little screen. This bike seems to be fairly well maintained. You know, I really doubt there's anything in it, and I don't like disturbing those gaskets all that much. Okay, so this is 0.8 liters for these little guys. Fills them up, so I had that pre-measured in the jar here. I'm using Castrol motorcycle oil here. It says 1040, but it's not. It's actually 2050. I just reused the container. Alright, so just so you're aware, you have to check the oil when the bike is standing straight up and down, and you just touch it in, you don't thread it in, and that's perfect. It's about 3/4 full. It's exactly where you want it. Just do that back up. Nice. So I noticed that the overflow on this carb was dripping a little bit, which means that it's not the needle's not seating properly, either because of float height or just because it's dirty. So I'm going to take that out and take a quick look and see if I can figure out what's going on. Everything looks alright, but looks can be deceiving. I think what I'm going to do, I'm just gonna bend that tab a wee little bit and give it a little bit more pressure and see how that goes. You know, I did test those brass floats there for a while to make sure they were okay, and they seem to test out all right. There's no liquid in them, so we'll just give it a wee little more pressure, just a little bit. Let's see how that goes. You know, the needle looks okay. I looked at this under a microscope, and everything looked to be all right. You know, I put a little Q-tip down to clean out that seat, And it didn't seem to be too bad either, so maybe I just needs a little more pressure. We'll see if this makes a difference. I didn't add much, but I added, you know, hopefully just enough. I also checked, there's nothing in these, you know, they're still solid, holding their own. And I'm going to swap out the spark plugs. These are kind of black. I don't know if they're fouling, but they're not really all that expensive, so it's well worth the change. Gap is 0.7 millimeters, so well, we'll see if it helps.
Okay, well, that's it for this video. Bike number 2 seems to be running just about perfectly. It has got lots of power. It is coming back to idle just as it should. I'm gonna give it a good ride, heat it up, and make sure that the carburetor settings are okay. But I'm pretty sure that it's as good as it's gonna be. So one more video coming, and that is going to be about Bike 1, and it's got some carburetor issues remaining, and I'm going to go through how I have to go through and fix that. Okay, so if you like this stuff, I'd appreciate you to subscribe and click buttons and likes and all that kind of stuff. It really helps. I'm trying to grow my channel, and I just appreciate it. Thank you very much.